Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Brian. Hope you're doing well. Gonna run through the numbers really quickly, talk about some potential trade ideas, and then let you guys get out of here. Um, Lots going on, and also a lot of nothing going on. So, what to do? Where to begin? First thing I think is with news. Let's start over here. What news is coming up for the day that we should be aware of? Not a whole lot, really. Well, there's a lot and not a whole lot at the same time. Same time, right? We've got unemployment claims, personal spending reports, core price index coming out at 7:30 this morning. So that's in about half an hour, 8:30 Eastern time, right? The manufacturing report is really the one that's considered to be the highest of the highest potential impact of the reports that are coming out today. That one's coming out at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, so shortly after the market opens. Kind of falls in line with the same thing that I've talked about before with the futures market, which is I typically let that first hour do its thing and then come in after the hysteria is over. Not really hysteria, but you know what I mean. There's typically a lot of whip in the futures market, that first hour where it's trying to find a direction and then finally kind of takes off. I think there's more opportunity to get stopped out quickly when you're trying to find that direction first thing, right? So I typically wait that first hour and come in at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. So really, ultimately, all this stuff doesn't really impact us too much because it's going to be beyond the time that I'm trading anyway. But for those that are trying to trade on the open, do keep in mind that there's news in that first half hour that could be potentially impactful. Now, there's a lot of other things that could be potentially impactful as well. We're going to get to that when we head over to the futures market. But for right now, just know that there is some news coming up. How does that impact us in the forex piece of things? Not really too much this morning. The pound has just been manic today. It's straight down and then straight up. So the pound isn't one that I'm watching. It's most of its cross pairs have moved well beyond what their typical ranges are. It leaves us with like the euro versus the USD, euro versus the CAD, euro versus the yen would really be the opportunities there. Potentially some pound trades. If we look at kind of really what happened here, the open was back here. It went straight down and went straight back up, and we're kind of back to where it began. So if the pound continues to push up, even though this range has been far exceeded, there could be some opportunity there on a breakout if it does push longer. But I'd rather watch the currencies that haven't had these wild swings, and that would really put us over here at the euro versus the USD, euro versus the CAD. Euro versus the CAD is a little more of a I think a better play than the euro versus the USD. Just simply looking at the fact that this typically moves about 90 pips, 95 pips, and it's in that 47 pip range. Just moved, little over half of what it typically does. Whereas the euro USD has moved, 50 on an average of like 70. So I think there's more opportunity here if we get a good push to get our 20 pip play off of this euro versus the CAD. So we still need to see a little bit of divergence over here. We still would need to see this CAD continue to push stronger the euro continue to push stronger with the CAD pushing to weakness, and ensure that when that occurs, that our volume detail is supporting that continued buying. So orders coming in that are favoring the continued buying of this euro versus the CAD. So we could place a buy order here at the top of this breakout box. If it triggers over the next few minutes, great. If it doesn't march on, that's fine too. But I'm going to look at this euro CAD as the opportunity for the day. All right, so moving on over here to the futures market. What's going on in the futures market? Just a crazy day yesterday. As we were talking in the morning, we mentioned this thing could just take off and never look back. As we were looking for shorts yesterday, actually, if you guys recall, the 30-minute was showing us short, and the 4-hour was also short at that point. But we also said, hey, if we break up, and especially if we get above 33.40, these short bets would all be off, and it never looked back. It broke on and just kept moving. Eventually retraced at 33.80, which is another big area up here. Hit 33.80 and just straight back down, kind of a manic day. Off hours trading, it's been pushing up higher. Now we're above 33.80, and our bias is now long. So our 4 hour is long and the 30-minute is long. So that big push definitely gave us a confirmed direction here. So for today, we'd be looking for buying opportunities. What does that look like for us? Could look like a pullback. If we pull back down here to 33.60, 33.50 even would be areas to look at buys. So pull back, buy this on a bounce. Other way to go is watching the 30-minute candles and placing a pending buy order. If we pull back here, looking at the tops of the previously closed candles. So if we make a lower high and lower low, lower high and lower low, we'll look to buy off of the break back in the direction of that confirmed market bias. So that's another way to play it. Keeping in mind this 33, probably 33.50 would be the decision point here. We break back down and close below 33.50 and start approaching 33.40 or below. Even if this hasn't flipped yet, I would certainly be very mindful of maybe keeping the hands off the trigger for a little bit. Simply because there's still a lot going on. There's probably more opportunity right now for upside, just given the fact that there's the vote on this CARES Act. Even though I think yesterday it was announced that there wasn't a direct agreement, I believe it still did go in for a vote. So good news on that could certainly push a rally here. So we're very, very, very news driven right now, very impactful. So just be aware of that. But keeping in mind, we break through 33.60. This is kind of the point to look for a bounce for a buy. We get down below that into this 33.50, especially if you break through 33.40. Even if this hasn't flipped yet, even if our bias hasn't flipped yet, that would be the point to just stop and see what the market's going to do with taking new direction, if any, right? So anyway, but right now, bias is long, looking to buy opportunities and looking at those pullbacks there. Crude is in a mixed bias. Yesterday we were looking for short trading opportunities. Crude just took off, never gave us an opportunity to even try to go short. It just face melting straight up. Today it's kind of hit this top over here. 40.50 has been a big area for resistance on this. Hit that same area, now it's pushing back down. We're in a mixed bias. So the 4 hour is short, 30-minute is currently long. If this crosses over, we could start looking for short trading opportunities. Where would we be looking to go short? 39.20, it's been a big support area here on the 30-minute level. If we break 39.20, we could certainly look to see maybe push down lower from there. However, it is a mixed bias, which is telling you right now, just keep your hands off the trigger. Don't worry about it. If we get like I said yesterday, if we get a big rally on this S&P, it may pull crude up with it. So that's another driving factor over there. Just be aware of that. Gold, we're in a mixed bias. 4 hour is down, it's short. The 30-minute is long. So gold is still telling us to sit on our hands right now for gold. As far as the cryptocurrencies go, I have not talked about ETH or BTC in quite a while. Mainly because I'm working on some stuff over there and just don't want to. Let's see if I've got it up over here. That's that code. That's not the one I'm looking at. Anyway, I'm just currently working through strategies and coding on this stuff right now. The big things here, we've seen a really nice rally. We pulled back a little bit on Bitcoin and ETH, but have pushed again higher. I think Bitcoin right now is sitting at 10.8. Let's see where ETH is. ETH is sitting at basically 370. So still a lot of upside there on both of these. If you're looking at Ethereum, we could be looking at continued buy opportunities. The definitely in an upward trend here. Yeah, I'd say a break of 370 if you're looking for breakouts. Break of 370 to continue long, and on Bitcoin, let's see. Bitcoin is kind of lining up here. 11,000 is that big piece for us. There's got to be a better. Yeah, and really 10.9, which is just above where we are right now. 10.9 would be that next breakout point. If it breaks above that, we could certainly see 11. So that's it. I'm going to leave it here. I'm still working through this process, as I mentioned before. Once I get it sorted out, I will share it with everybody, and I'll let you guys begin using it. But I'm not going to share it until I know it's right and it's doing what I think it should be doing, and it's able to execute in the market. That's the big piece, is getting the fills. Cryptocurrency is still a smaller market in relation to others. We're used to trading in futures and in forex, and especially in the more active forex pairs where you get filled instantly when you want to get in. Well, if you're trading at a time of day, there's definitive market session times in forex where markets are more active than others, and you can pretty much judge by time of day how accurately and quickly you're going to be filled. And Bitcoin, while it is more active typically during Asian sessions than later into the U.S. session, it doesn't have these specific market hours where you really see big increases in activity. Combine that with the fact that there's just not as much volume being traded. The slippage and the gaps certainly work into play a lot more, and we're trying to figure that out and kind of work through that using some mechanisms that are available to us, the way that orders are delivered. So anyway, as we get through all that, I feel like we should have a pretty good product. But until then, and maybe I never worked it through. I mean, maybe I never figured out. Who knows? I can accept that. So, but if I do get it done and it's working, then I'll certainly share it with you guys. All right. So that's it for now. I'm going to leave it here. You guys get on with your day. Trade safe. Remember, we've seen a huge rally, in the indexes, and emotionally, there's a lot of times people will look at that and go, well, it's had this big run. It has to go down. It has to pull back. I'm going to caution you on that right now, just like I have in the past. Don't be tempted to think just because it's gone up, it has to go down. I mean, at some point, it'll pull back, but no one knows when that is. And just because it had a big rally yesterday doesn't mean it's going to pull back today. It could have a big face-melting rally today as well. Be careful about trying to sell into stuff just on emotion. It happens a lot. Traders do it all the time. Man, that just fell 200 points. It's got to bounce from here. No, it doesn't. It does not. It absolutely does not have to do anything. Just because it did something yesterday doesn't mean it has to do something different today. There's a lot out there driving the markets. There's a lot going on with news. There's a lot going on still. I mean, good Lord, I'm thinking about the election news and coronavirus news and CARES Act news, and then your regular news built in with economic reports that are coming out. There's so many things driving this market, and it's a different variable every single day. But please, 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 I just caution you, because I know I've got friends that do this, and I've got trader friends that I've never actually met, but I've spoken with online that have that tendency as well, and it's just so darn dangerous. If you feel that need, today to try to sell the S&P or to sell the NASDAQ, sell the Dow, just because it rallied, if that's the only reason you're doing it, please turn off your computer and walk away. Now, I don't know if it's going to pull back or if it's going to rally today. I have no idea, but I have a trading plan that I'm going to execute in the market, and I'm going to do whatever the trading plan says, right? That's what we're going to do. That's the prudent methodology of doing this, is having a plan and executing your plan. Going, it rallied, I'm just going to sell it, is not a plan. So if that's what you're doing, turn your computer off, sit on your hands, do something different. Figure out a plan before you take action, all right? Figure out a plan before you take action. So anyway, that's it. I know I'm a broken record with that stuff, but I see so many people getting hurt by it. I don't know where that advice comes from, or if it's just I don't know. Anyway, please don't do that. You know, have a reason for what you're going to do if you're going to buy or to sell it. And if you're doing that for a specific reason, if you're saying, hey, this has come to a key level and I feel like I'm going to sell it because it's come to this key level, and that's your reason for wanting to go short, great. But discover what that key level is before the market opens and before you start to get in, and have an exit point available to yourself. So that's pretty much it. All right, so have a great day. We'll talk to you later. If we have any trade setups that occur that work out today, we'll talk about them. But remember, as we mentioned already, we have a couple that are in mixed markets, and there's a lot to watch. Even in the S&P over here, there's a lot to watch. You know, as the day goes on, with key levels, even though we're looking for buy opportunities and buying on pullbacks, if we do break certain levels, it'd be a good time to just stop and walk away. All right, so anyway, that's it for now. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.